Welcome to our podcast, friends. Thank you so much for listening. If you like our podcast and want to support us, please subscribe or follow us. And please don't forget to click the notification bell so you will be notified when new episodes release. Thank you, and God bless.
Welcome to the podcast, and thanks for joining me and my friend, Father Steven Sanchez, a discalced Carmelite friar. Before we get started, really quick, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you found us on and share us with your friend if you're enjoying the podcast. All right. Good morning, Father.
Good morning. How are you?
I am still half asleep, but I'm half awake because of cooking meat. I'm ready for meat.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're smoking some ribs?
Yep, beef ribs. Meat.
Beef ribs.
Yeah. Ugh. All right. So this is just a fun little bonus episode. We weren't really planning this. We just wanted to, we've been working on this for a while now. And it's kind of funny because I guess anyone who's been listening to the podcast, right, they see 2 episodes, but we've been doing this since Lent of this year, this is 2022. So, back in March? So, it's been a while.
Yeah. Yes, that's when we began. Yeah.
And
you started thinking about this the year before.
Yeah, and actually
there was something that you felt that God was calling you to do something, and we talked about that. And
yeah, and this actually goes
slowly developed into this.
Yeah, and I think it goes way back, to be honest, because we've had some challenges and some difficulties and fun along the way, I guess, since March this year, regarding what name to name the podcast and stuff like that. And the original name we were going to go with, I don't know if we should say it because I don't want to accidentally use somebody else's stuff now. So basically, once upon a time, my wife, Betty, had this idea for, I don't know, I guess like a name for like a platform or, I don't know, brand. I don't know a better way to say it. But, and this is probably back in like 2017. It's a long time ago. Because this kind of thing has been weighing on me for some time. And so we just kind of went with that name. Right. And so we started doing everything back in March, and we have been recording episodes to slowly release over time. And we had been using this name the entire time. And then come to find out, somebody else, Holy Spirit, has moved them to start, something. And they beat us to the punch, I guess is the way to say it. They used the same name, and it was catchy. Right. And
they published before we did. Yeah.
So that was fun, trying to come up with a new name. Goodness, I don't know how many times.
Trying to catch something catchy, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that kind of maybe encapsulates or synthesizes the heart of the podcast, right? And so then, again, a lot of the tried and true are statements of faith.
Mm-hmm.
were already taken, and so then there's even some podcast names that use again something of the faith, and might even be anti-Catholic or even anti-church, kind of sort of like clickbait kind of stuff, which is kind of strange. And so trying to figure out what is a good word, what is a good name, because the name carries a lot of meaning. And so trying to figure that out and working that out. And there was a lot of ideas, and we were just throwing a lot of stuff on the wall, considering we're very so sure of our first original name of the podcast that we were just, we're going to do this. And then we find out like, somebody just published before we did.
Yeah.
So,
oops. Yeah. So we tried real hard to find something, that was unique enough to not be, 100 other podcasts or books or movies or whatever that are titled the same thing.
Yes.
Ugh,
Right.
that was fun. And then we also, I think the people also don't necessarily realize, and this is maybe anybody who listens to us on YouTube, they might be going, well, I want to see some video, right? Like, just, it's 2022. Let's see some video. But what they don't necessarily realize is the kind of technical limitations we have on top of everything else, right? So, like, you are in a monastery in the middle of nowhere with the world's not best internet, and
Yes.
it's
It
just,
depends
yeah.
how many gerbils are in the little wheel spinning, and so everybody else is on the same bandwidth. They're watching, hunting videos or skinning videos or fishing videos or how to kill deer while you're drunk shooting AR-15s. I mean, whatever they're watching. And so, yeah, my reception, my connection is not very strong.
Yeah, and that's one of the fun parts about when we record too, because if we were to not kind of play with the editing, there's always like a sync issue where there's a delay between like question and answer, which is maybe
Right.
why you hear us talk over each other a couple times in every episode, because it's just it's tricky to get past, and I don't want to spend all day trying to edit it, and yeah, I don't want it to sound choppy. I want it to sound natural. And but yeah, if we videoed this at right now, it would just look like bad VHS, like grainy, kind of weird mess. So I don't know. That's a maybe someday, but
Besides, I think the reality is that we're two introverts. That kind of plays into it as well. That like,
yes,
I'm
absolutely.
not sure if I want to do that.
Yeah, we have to. I don't want to get pretty every time we chit chat,
Yeah, there's not enough time for it to do all that.
Yeah, but
so getting back to the name, I just wanted to go back to that a little bit, because I think there is so much that a name carries, right? In terms of significance, how it's received. And in today's culture, I mean, again, there's a lot of appropriation when a particular group takes over a name or over a slogan or something, and kind of spins it and tries to make it what the words are not. Right? It reminds me a little bit of in Humpty Dumpty. I think in Humpty Dumpty, if I remember correctly, and those of you who read those and have a better memory than me can correct me, I think Humpty Dumpty says, "Words mean what I want them to mean," and I think that's kind of what can happen when there's an appropriation of a name or a word. For example, this one podcast that I looked at that had sort of a Catholic name to it, and yet it was something about why you should not go to church. I go like, what? Like that is not what is essential to Christianity, because again, community is part of the whole essence of being a Christian, is to belong to a greater community. So why would you not celebrate or worship with the community? So anyway, again, going back to this whole idea of what a name carries and the significance of that. And so it's really up to you. You're the one that came up with the name of this podcast as it is, because essentially it has to do, again, with our relationship, with our friendship.
Yep. Yep. And the other thing was to try to figure out how to be descriptive with what we're actually doing here, right? So that little subtitle, that contemplating the faith, we're not overtly trying to, jam catechesis, at you. Like we want to share in the beauty of
Right.
the Catholic faith and the church, because that's where we believe, if you spend time in it, spend time with it, that's the part that'll change your life, right? Jesus will find a way through that. So I don't know. We hope we hope we don't have any more naming issues at the very least, for goodness sake. Yeah. So that gets us kind of to where we are. So I don't know, like Father, I know what it's been like this so far has been like for me, but what has this been like for you? Just the whole experience, starting off all the way back in March, and we don't know what we're doing, and we can't even get a video meeting to work on the computers. Like, I don't know, what has it all been like for you?
It's been a growth point, a stretching, because when we first began chatting or talking about this thing, it was because you had felt that the Lord was calling you to do something, and so you didn't know exactly what it was that He was calling you to do, and then you were thinking about different things. Then you had asked me, well, since you prepare conferences and do retreats and preach and stuff, would you be willing to kind of help me outline or script something for me? Like, sure, I can do that for you, not a problem, right? So and then later on, you're thinking, well, what about a podcast? I'm like, uh-oh. That's not okay. I'm willing to consider it. And again, because of our friendship, right? I'm willing to consider that. That stretches me again. So I'm willing to consider it. And then, so we started, and then trying to get this together, trying to figure out how we're going to do this. We're in 2 different states. How we're going to be able to record. And of course, because with your technical experience, you have much, much, much more understanding of these things than I do. And then trying to get this together, and then trying to get the right microphone working, and then trying to figure out the recording, something as simple as plugging in the headphones into the computer and the microphone into the computer, and trying to figure out, of all the different options, what is the best option to record. And so again, it's been a stretch. But it's been exciting too. And in a way, some of the other people that I know are very excited about it. They're very enthusiastic about it. In fact, one of my directees, who's a seminarian in Rome right now, was very excited about this. And one of the things he said was like, since most people don't read, this is a great way to evangelize, is a great way to spread the news, right? And to try to get people to understand the faith. And so, of course, he then listed several topics he would want me to cover. And I'm like, whoa. So, yeah, we'll do what we can.
Yeah. What do you think has been what stretched you the most, or what part of you has been stretched the most?
I think getting comfortable with speaking. Like, so most of us, we're not used to hearing our voice because, again, this is whole idea of because of the synodal or the sinus echo, right? And so when we hear our voice recorded, it sounds weird. And so when I hear my voice recorded, the first time I heard my voice recorded, I thought it was disgusting. I thought this is, oh my
I think
God.
everybody hates their voice. I don't
ever want to speak again. I sound so weird. That can't be me. And so anyway, so for me, the big stretch is having this recorded right out there. So once it's out there forever. You can never get it back. I can't go back and say like, oh, let me erase everything. Like, once it's out there, it's out there. And for me, that's kind of a stretch because, one, I don't like to be recorded because many people can misquote you, or since we're speaking in general terms and we have to speak in terms of broad brush strokes, right? To address in general the generalities or the overall topic of faith, then it's amazing what people hear or don't hear, right? And I've had people question my my homilies. I remember once in a particular parish I was preaching, and it was on Our Lady. And so there was 4 people waiting for me in the sacristy, right? And so the people were waiting in the sacristy to complain to me about what I said about Our Lady. And I go like, okay, tell me what you heard. Blah, 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 blah. Like, that is not what I said. I said, da, 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 da. It's like, yeah, people, that's why people are, for me, the stretch is that. The stretch is having it out there, right? And feeling that maybe I might have to go back and, okay, so now that was in a generality, that was a broad brushstroke. So now we have to talk about the particular circumstances and everything that goes into that. So for me, that was just, to me, that's the growing edge for me, or the stretching part is having it out there.
Yeah. And you can't get past the fact nowadays, there are people that have malicious intentions. Right. So there are some people that not just like, oh, I took you out of context. Like, I apologize. My bad. There are people who purposefully look for people to take out of context to try to, bring about a change or something that they want. Right. And there's a lot of people that right now that don't like the church. They don't like Jesus. Like, Jesus is, more people use Jesus as a cuss word than they do as their having a relationship with them,
That is very, very true.
Yeah. And so I agree. I think that would be a fear of mine too. And it's just having to have that confidence in the Holy Spirit, right? The confidence that God will, if we get thrown in the den of lions kind of thing, he's either got our backs, or that's where he wants us,
Correct. I think the part of it too, and this is something we talked about earlier, is there are, haters have to hate. Haters gotta hate. And no matter what you do or what you say, if people are looking for a reason to be upset and angry, they're gonna find it.
Yeah.
And they'll intentionally, for whatever reason, that they find themselves in their lives, that they need that, then yeah. So part of it too is like, okay, so would I rather they hate me than hate somebody else? Okay, now we come to something like, okay, I'd rather just, spend get all your, as they say in Texas, piss and vinegar out of me, and just, and so just whatever, and not let it bother you, because there are people that are just angry people, and it's unfortunate, but obviously there's work that they need to do, both psychologically and spiritually, but that's neither here nor there. And again, it goes back to this whole idea of this, the power of words, right? And that is why we were having such a hard time trying to find a name for this podcast, because words do have power.
Yeah. So we've got 2 episodes released, 2 under your belt, so to speak. How does that feel, knowing that you've got it? Like, you got a couple, notches on there. You're, kind of in the swing of things now.
Well, I think we've been recording. I think the 2 that have been released so far, they've gotten some positive feedback, right? People that know us, that's part of the whole thing, is people that know us are interested and excited about it. So hopefully it goes beyond that. Hopefully what we have to share in terms of the faith, diving into some of these areas of not just nominal Catholicism, by that I mean just in name, but to how to allow God's effective word enter into our lives and change us through these different signs and symbols that we use in our church, that are supposed to be signs and symbols of a deeper reality, of a deeper truth that is working in us. And so I think that's part of the challenge too, as we move forward in our podcast. And I'm excited about that. And I know you're in love with the Lord, and you know that I'm in love with the Lord, and we, again, both very human, faulty instruments, but still in love with the Lord. So I think that's what's important, is to somehow try to communicate that.
Yeah, and we've already had some good I mean, I have no idea how podcasts spread on like naturally through the interweb or whatever it is, but we've already had some people that you get some interesting statistics, very general statistics, like where people are from. And so we've had some people download the first episode from Italy, Canada, and Australia. So that's kind of cool to have people from.
Yeah.
I don't know how it ended up over there, but that's, I guess, the kind of a cool thing. Yeah, it is exciting, and I hope people are patient with us and gracious with us as they realize, maybe listening to us right now in this kind of bonus episode as opposed to the normal released episode next Friday. I think they'll hear a difference.
Oh yeah.
I think I need to make a T-shirt that, or we need to start a game, like a counter, to see how many times I say right or like or in every episode, because it's very clear I'm not used to speaking to people kind of the way you are, right? You do lessons or seminars or conventions and things like that, so you are a little bit better at getting your thoughts into a coherent sentence before you speak. So it's all, I don't know.
But
it's
we all
all
have,
good and it's
we all have
exciting.
idiosyncrasies, right? We all have idiosyncrasies, speech idiosyncrasies, and so that's part of the listening to it. Like, oh wow, I say so a lot, and I still do it, even though I'm aware, but I still go like so.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny. But see, and I guess that's maybe the fun part too, because you bringing that up right now, I absolutely know that you say so a lot, and I've never thought of it before. Like it's just never registered, and I guess that's the beauty of friendship, the power of friendship, right? Is that
Yeah,
you
it's
don't really
forgiving.
care. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, this is great. This is all just so exciting for me, and I know you have made the decision to give your life to God, your entire life to God. I mean, you live and breathe God, and I'm just the laity, right? So I have to go to work and I have to do all these other things outside of this, but I think you know me. You know, if I could somehow do this and live on a farm or something at the same time, like it would be the only thing I do, right? Is cook meat, grow.
Yeah, on a farm with very,
garden.
very good Wi-Fi.
Yes. Yeah. Goodness. So, but you know what? Something that I've noticed, because I went out and visited you this summer, and the one thing that I can't help but feel convicted, and this is I guess something that I would really like to ask for everybody's prayers in, is there are y'all have a humongous property. It's humongous, and there's like 1.5 of you guys out there, and like the floor's caving in, and the raccoons are rewiring the attic, and yeah, and it's crazy, right? But man, it's a big property, and I was talking to Father Jerome when I was out visiting, just like how many people would it take to really run that place and do it really well and keep it up and all that. And I don't know how many cells y'all have. How many y'all would be at max capacity, but it's got to be close to 20 if you guys had a lot of people out there. And so I would love for this to be able to become a way, not just to evangelize, but to help, to be helpful to you and your order. And I'd love for if people could pray to get some seminarian out there who is praying hard, trying to decide what to do with his life or her life, because there's Carmelite nuns too, to just really consider giving their lives to God in this way. I'd love to. I couldn't tell you what it would do to my heart to see that place full. Right? It would be so cool. And it would be a mess. Can you imagine 20 dudes, walking around eating Cheerios?
Oh my word.
But God, if God would be so good as to answer that prayer and to just make sure, because I'm sorry, you're a beautiful man, and you've changed, positively affected so many people's lives that, yeah, I would, if God wills it for there to, y'all to eventually be nothing left in this district. What do y'all call it? This province?
Province. Territory.
Yeah. Then territory. Yeah. Then that's that's what God wills. But
yeah, that's God's will. Yeah.
But maybe not. So just I'd like for everyone to pray for all the religious, but especially for the Carmelites here in the South Central provinces.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to keep this one short. I think we just wanted to kind of bonus episode, throw it out there, give you all an update, and kind of tell you how the story's been, how it's played
unfolding
out so far. Yeah. Really, I think the best thing people can do to help is to absolutely make sure that they subscribe. And from what we've learned in different platforms, it looks different. So it might just be a little plus button, and sometimes it might say follow instead of subscribe or whatever. And maybe there's a notification bell like there is on YouTube where they can click it and they get updated whenever there's a new episode. But doing that to make sure that they're, because that's the metric, right? That's the thing that we've learned that you can actually see is just if people downloaded the episode, that's it.
Right.
So that, and then sharing, right? We need.
I feel free to share.
People to share. Yeah, that's would be the next biggest thing. Okay. Any last thoughts, Father?
Well, thank you so much. No, just thank you very much. God bless for being patient with us. Thank you for that. And hopefully we'll all grow together in this relationship with each other and with the Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. We will see you all next time. Bye for now.
Bye.